for the Westlake Charter School Board of Directors meeting for February 12th, 2026. Board President Golick, you have the floor.
Thank you. For those joining us on YouTube, please know you can still make a public comment. You would just send an email to admin@westlakecharter.com. Put the item you wish to comment on in the subject line, and then in the body, please keep your comment to 250 words or less, and we'll make every effort to read it into the meeting. And if by chance we don't have time for that, it will be included as part of the minutes. With that, Ashley, will you please take the roll? Oh, here. Sean? Here. Josh? Sapir?
Here.
Sally? Here. Amber?
Here.
Suzanne?
Here.
Nirali?
Here.
And Kiki?
Here.
Perfect. Celebrations. Who would like to go first?
Oh, yeah, I'll celebrate. No, I know what you're gonna say. I'll let you have it. I will celebrate the after-school programs. My son is in first grade, and we are doing chess club, and we're doing basketball, and it's really exciting for him and very convenient and lovely for me.
I love it. Going your way, Hubba?
Sure. I will celebrate science outside, and I love our campus because there's so many places that you can go and hold a session and do some learning. So we went out to the playground today. We were doing incoming versus reflected light, and so they got to measure using a luxometer and a thermometer. It was fun.
I love it. I love it. Kiki, you want to play along?
You go.
You're like, okay, skip. I just want to shout out Jeanette Mixit's in her marine science. Do we celebrate this? No, not. We haven't done this meeting. She has this really cool marine science class, which is a new class for us, kind of a marine biology class. And in true Jeanette Mixit's fashion, she's just gone way overboard in creating these units of study that are absolutely phenomenal. And she just, on a whim, was like, wow, look at all this great work my students produced. And she's part of a lot of like these national science nerd chat groups on the Facebooks and the whatnots. And so she threw up all this work on one of these chat groups, and it blew up. She goes, I woke up in the morning. In the morning, I had like 2,000 comments of like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's amazing. How could you teach us how to do this? And she came to me, she goes, I don't know what I just did, but I think that the whole country wants to come and visit. I'm like, of course they do. You're amazing. So, you know, Jeanette Mixit is teacher's designer, and this whole vibe at the high school where electives are a thing. Our academic electives are super strong. So the electives are throwaways. They're deep opportunities to learn really cool stuff. And so, yeah, big shout out to the whole team.
Mine's not nearly as exciting.
Sorry, it's all the coffee.
I guess I'll go with a more personal one. People heard of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, like you never know who you know. So, and you, I think, at least a couple of you already know this, but my daughter is in a small liberal arts college, literally in the middle of Iowa. And this semester, she happens to have a professor who went to high school with my husband.
Oh my goodness.
And he was 2 years ahead, but his younger brother was in my husband's class. And he was able to send her my husband's yearbook photos from his sophomore year, which, you know, sometimes they're fine photos, but you don't always want them to be shared or looked at again. But what was so great about it was there's this photo from theater, and he often talks to her about how involved he was in high school theater and how much it mattered to him. And that was the photo this professor sent her. He took the time, he went home, he dug out the yearbook and sent her pictures of her father. And for me, it's a celebration is really about community. You never know where you find it or how many degrees away it's going to be. But all it takes is that one person who shows interest in your life or where you're from and everything else to really sort of tie you in. And I've always appreciated the fact that I feel like Westlake does that exceedingly well. And then to see that in my daughter's college, who I often call the Westlake of colleges, it's just been fabulous this year.
It's cool.
Suzanne?
Wow, that's really good. I'm going to share what I shared in governance is volleyball intramurals have started, which is really fun to watch times. And but the really fun part is that the coaches are the high schoolers, and for my 6th grade daughter, like to have a high school coach is really fun. She just loves her. So shout out to the high schoolers.
Yeah, they're crushing it. They're crushing it.
Sapir?
All right. On Tuesday, I was fortunate enough to be able to chaperone a first grade field trip to Sac State Planetarium. Saw Miss Sanchez there. She was in a different class, but So for Miss Hell Jones, where my youngest first grader is in class, we had 20 parents sign up to chaperone, and she could only take 4, so I was lucky to be one of the 4. And it was awesome. And the kids, I mean, the planetarium was whatever, but the bus ride, oh my God, they were loving the bus.
It's their first field. That's not a bus.
On the bus,
It's
go around.
yeah.
It's almost about it back. It would probably just been just as effective. As
Yeah.
But they
Because those kindergartners didn't get a bus field trip, and so yeah, they're like, woo! Oh, that's amazing. That's hilarious. The planetarium was whatever.
It's like a reminder, right, that the paper on the present can be
Yeah,
as
yeah,
good
yeah,
as the
yeah.
present.
Yeah, you buy the toy, but it's the box that's so fun. Yeah. So great. Ms. Patel?
I was gonna celebrate something similar to Hope's, but not that close. In my new role, I met somebody who works in my department, and his last name was Intercom, and so I, got to know a lot of what he does. And long story short, I got to know a little bit about how the high school is named after his great grandfather, how his children went to this school, and we work in this team, and now it's like we have this bond.
Must be Steve.
Steve
Yeah.
Intercom, yeah.
Former Westlakers.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
He's, and it came up, and he's like, "What? Like, you kids go to Westlake? You live around Westlake? Now you run into each other, awkwardly every time you're working from home and doing your little walk. It's great, but it's just like it's this small community. You never know. Out of all the departments I have joined, I joined this team where he works.
That's
so
funny.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Steve's dad and I did small group math intervention back in the day.
That's
so.
right. That's
I'm
right.
gonna
Me and
start asking for
Me and
photos.
Mr. Gene are like this.
Yeah, Gene Intercom,
Maybe
yeah.
I'll ask for your photo, Hope.
Oh. Our daughters were close
That's
for a
great.
bit, so there
That's
might
great.
be some.
That's great.
Sorry, I just had to add, like, that family is their,
Yeah, they're great.
yeah.
Mr. Corbin, you playing?
Yeah, celebrate high school athletics. We just came off with a great senior night for basketball and spring sports that are lifting off the ground. It's just a great time of year, right? A lot of good stuff's going on. So looking forward to a great season. Last year, boys volleyball went up to states and competed exceptionally well. So yeah, it should be another great season.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Sean Berman.
I'm gonna do the same one that I did in governance, which is I'm gonna celebrate break that is coming up next week, which I know not for some,
I
but
get Monday.
for Westlake. And I think my Westlaker is very excited.
That's great.
It's so well timed. I do celebrate it, sorry, everywhere. Like, you should work at Westlake, they get a week off in February.
That's right.
Okay, I'll just say, go to the talent show tomorrow night.
There we
It's
go.
Tomorrow night at 6. We have a lot of staff members and students and families who will put a lot of work into it, so
Yeah,
head out.
yeah, I love it. So good. So good.
Where I discovered Dr. Ike could sing.
There we go. I played in a first grade classroom yesterday and sang for National Guitar Day. Every year, Miss Harold Jones invites me down to play guitar for the first graders, and it was awesome. Best gig ever. You feel like a rock star when you play in a first grade classroom. I'm telling you, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you. Actually, at the end of it, they were like, "Yeah, the guitar's fine, but can you get a bus again?"
Well, and they get break next week. I mean, it's just, well, this is just like the best week ever. And we started with Katie, so, anyone have board comments for matters not on the agenda?
Any board comments?
Seeing none, we'll go to public comment, and we can start off by checking with Ms. Mendez to see if anybody's at the high school wanting to make a public comment.
There's nobody here wanting to make a comment.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez.
And do we have any in the email? None. Perfect.
Seeing none.
So that will bring us on to reports, and I think I saw a video from Felix already to go, so we'll start there.
Our WAVE President Felix Flores has created a video for us. Let's take a look at what he's got to say.
For today's update from WAVE, I just wanted to give you a few kind of bullet points. One is that we are kind of working in our planning stage. Typically, August through October is our busiest month, and then that ramps up again in April, May with International Festival and Staff Appreciation Week. So we've been using January and February to really give us some planning time with the principals and as well as with the WAVE Leadership Board to get us a chance to be able to make sure that we have a strong end of the school year. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. In March, we do have some upcoming events. We have trivia night and coffee talk at the high school. Those will be in the Westlake Weekly, so keep an eye out for that. Those should be fun. And then right now we've started working our International Festival. We have kind of a planning committee already set up for that, as well as beginning one for Staff Appreciation Week. We look excited to kind of bring back some good events, and Principal Block and Principal McIver have been really helpful in kind of their consultation of kind of what went well in the past years, what we'd like to see some changes for this year. Along with this last kind of planning note, we're working right now on budgets and elections to help us prepare for what we're going to see next year. So looking kind of what we feel are both fundraising goals and sustainability budgets that work well for both Westlake and Wave. And then obviously with elections coming up in April, we're going to be promoting in the next couple of weeks that the leadership positions that are available that people can sign up for. We'll have a deadline for that to be done by the end of March. That people can say that they want to be in, and then obviously create some opportunities for people to meet the candidates in the month of April before they vote. So other than those are kind of the big things that we're working on. It's been a fairly quiet, January and February when it comes to wave events. Same thing with March, but we'll start ramping it up in April and May as well. As always, if you have any questions or want to be able to meet or talk, reach out to me at wavewcs@gmail.com. Thank you for everything that y'all do, and look forward to connecting soon.
All righty, that is our report from our Wave president.
Thank you. Impact met, and Dr. Ike and I may have given a little bit too much homework. We're reviewing the assumptions in the strategic plan as well as parts of the charter, and in the end, it ended up being a number of pages. So we're going to come back again at our next meeting and look at those again, just to make sure we're still dialed in on what we know about our community, what we think is going to be happening in our community, where we're headed. But we can't really do that without looking at the existing documents, right? Because you really want to have a strong foundation of knowing where you've been. So we're working on those pieces right now. Norali, do you want to do a development update?
I can do a development.
Thank you.
So development met, this past year has been, we've had a couple of months where we haven't met, and so we finalized some objectives for the goals for a year, and then really working to finalize the approach the development chair has on trying to take the vision for next year and trying to really create a more consistent plan of what the goals will be, how to better achieve them, and really what the focus should be on the development committee. So kind of working to close up this year and then start afresh for next year and prep a little bit better is, I think, the goal of the committee, and see what we're going to go from there.
Perfect. Thank you. Sean.
So finance also met. We got another great update from Steve. Continued our discussion of certificated compensation. We're anticipating a very full meeting for this month, and so Impact has kindly agreed to. They meet after us, so they have agreed to not, so that we don't have a hard stop on the end of our meeting, which we often run headlong into.
True story.
Every time. Governance met tonight. You'll see the work of that meeting next month when we have 2 policies on the board's agenda for review. And then we started, no, you'll see both. And then we'll go from there. We've really started to dial in, I want to say, the policy review process, and sort of making sure it is really strict to what's legally required, and then trying to develop policies or other frameworks that can live outside the board's policy to make sure we're covering all our bases. But it's really good work. Like, it's feeling like it's moving in the right direction, which is great. With that, Dr. Ike.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. It's good to see you all. Let's see what I got. I've got some slides. I got some thoughts. Probably got some celebrations. We'll start with some celebrations, then we'll roll into some strategic actions and updates. And then after LCAP, I'll be doing slides on the strategic plan kind of workshop. And if you didn't get a chance to look at the board brief that was dropped in late last night, so sorry if it got there after I reviewed. You can be peeking at it as I go through this show before we get to that show. All right, let's just do some celebrations. Family Dance was a huge hit. Lots of people. Awesome DJ. The light show dazzles everybody. Great, well-attended gig. And this is one of my favorites. It's kind of sneaky because not everybody knows about it all the time. But if you're on campus during this great kindness challenge, and especially during the kindness carnival, is that what it's called? Kindness Carnival? That on that particular day is just hilarious. I mean, it's just a great gig. They got the little, you get in the little swimming pool, and you pull a ball, a kindness ball, and it gives you a kind word to do or a challenge to do. Just super, super cool. this is a great celebration. Lizzie Edmondson, who's one of our staff members for the Student Support Services team, she was recognized at a regional conference from our SELPA as the Classified Employee of the Year for the entire state of California. And it's the first time they've ever given out this award, and they gave it out to Lizzie Edmondson. And she is, I mean, if you don't know, I mean, you could just put her behind a computer and she'd run the whole planet. She's so organized, so diligent, so hardworking. She schedules all of the IEP meetings across the years. You think about the magnitude of that. You know, you're talking about hundreds of meetings that got to fit into everybody's calendars. It's and all the communications. Yeah, she's fantastic, fantastic. Big shout out. And there you go. SPELLING, the spelling bee winner right there. We finally have a new spelling bee winner because last 2 years in a row was the same winner. Now she's a high schooler, and so now we have a brand new spelling bee. Does anybody know the spelling bee word that won? Maybe no? Genesis, maybe? Or, no, not that, too soon? Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew. Yeah, such a great, yeah. Would you be able to, are you a good speller? Oh, you, gosh, I would. I don't. I do know yesterday's Wordle, though, on Keegus' birthday, the Wordle was vegan, which worked out really well. Yeah. Which out, right? That seemed entertaining. There we go. Let's see. Oh, Perspective family tours on both campuses were a big hit leading up to the lottery. It was a good gig. Perspective family tours at the high school are always super fun because it's kind of like a little bit of Willy Wonka situation where people are always like, I want to see inside. You know, people come in and go, oh, I had no idea. There's an Explorer Lounge. This is so cool. Yeah, so Perspective Family Tours, a big hit at both campuses, leading up to lottery coming up next month.
Can I ask a question, Dr.
Oh,
Wright?
please. I'm sorry, yes.
I was just curious. Have you noticed a change in our community parents that were interested based on our graduating class last year? I don't know if, you know,
that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
No, yeah, I don't know. We do use the slide. Hey, look at all the colleges we were accepted to, and so I think a lot of people were dazzled by that slide. But I don't know the words completely out there, like, hey, this is the school to go to if you want to get all these great colleges. But we are definitely promoting it every time we can. But I don't know that I got a different demographic or I don't know that I heard that. Yeah, good question though. Let's see. It was our second annual STEM career fair. Really a cool gig. I know some of the high school teachers gave extra credit to get kids there, so it was pretty well attended. Always give a little extra credit to get kids to show up. But it was really well attended, well put together. Lots of family members, so-and-so's aunt, somebody's cousin, somebody who were all in the STEM field were presenting at booths. And we even had student presenters at the STEM fair, the Neuroscience Club. The Brain Science Club, the same students who put on the neuroscience booth at Fall Festival, which I thought was just phenomenal, teaching little kids about what's the hippocampus and what's these different parts of what's the amygdala. They also presented at the STEM career fair. Super cool. 8th grade information night also over at the high school, which is such a cool, sneaky, like, all right, it's 8th grade information night. We're going to talk about all the big events in 8th grade. Let's do it over here at the high school. And so you get a few people who are like, oh, we haven't been here yet. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a great, and I think we use the same slide. Oh, by the way, while you're here, we all do this. Lots of opportunity to see the school and see what we do. The Link crew leaders at both the Parent Perspective Tours and the 8th grade Info Night are just phenomenal, right? The Link crew leaders, our student leaders, just do a great job. So love that. And this is like a huge celebration for us. So you all know that the Metal Benders are our Vex Robotics competitive team led by none other than Ramon Paredes, who's an amazing STEM teacher at our high school. Well, the Metal Benders have been out to more than one competition recently, and they have not yet received their first, award or recognition, and this is it. We've received our very first recognition. They got an award for the most innovative team. So they actually got knocked out in the first round. They didn't get the first place, second place, third place because their metal bender bent and broke, and they were devastated. But the way that they collaborated to innovate and kind of overcome the problem got them the most innovative team award, which really cool award for our kids. So yeah, so that's like, I love it. Yeah, it was such perseverance, Yeah, it's such a growth mindset. Yeah, I love these guys. Yeah, great team, and big fan of Mr. Perez. You might have noticed that North Face sweatshirt right there. It's a board member sweatshirt. Board member Art. Our first grade, as you heard, our first grade field lesson to the bus was really good, and they stopped by the planetarium. Yeah. The bus field trip was great, and by the way, they swung by the planetarium. Love it. I love it. All right, let's do some strategic actions. There is Mr. Perez and a couple of the medal winners right there. We're going to talk some professional development and some developing the fall season for 26-27. I just want to talk through a little PD. Since the inception of Everest, the Everest Academy, we've developed over 100 hours of learning focused on student learning, equity, positive school culture. So we now have over 100 hours of professional learning in Everest. So if you got hired here tomorrow, there's so much you can onboard right to. We have 7 6-part learning series. We have 16 2-part series. And the cool piece, I think, is that we've had more than 20 teachers participate as builders cohorts. So I think the very first Everest thing, we just kind of went, we were ratcheting on trying to build it. We said, gosh, this content is better when expert teachers pour into it. So right now there's a group of teachers building the structured literacy 6-part series, and we're pulling the resources from the professionals who work here. And so I think that's really a step up for the program, is to be building content with our amazing teachers. We've had 35 plus teachers who appear on film inside our courses, and now we have teachers as facilitators. So I think it's Maureen and Heather Chastain presenting there. Ms. Ho's been presenting lately, so it's good to get us back up on stage again and say, hey, this is our house. Let's teach one another. Kind of a teachers model, which we've always been good at, but I think we're bringing that back. I love that. Just a few little testimonials from our most recent survey. I love being a reflective teacher. The PD helps on areas that can reflect. I love this kind of shout out to Everest Academy, and it makes me feel inspired that I can do more with my students. And this one's just kind of about the math training in the fall, kind of shouting out, hey, I'm really excited to dive into the math curriculum. I feel like I understand how to facilitate each component better than I did before. So little shout outs there. This is what we're working on right now this year. You'll remember we did for our math instructors on the K-8 side of the house, we did a 6-part math series in the fall. Because you remember this year we're really focusing on math to try and meet that criterion too for the dashboard. We had 6th through 12th grade instructional design, and then we're working on a K-6 structured literacy right now, which is kind of cool. Then for those who aren't in that one, we have the Everest blueprinted practices with UDL, GLAD, QTEL. So if you're not in one of these, you can jump into one of those. We survey at the end of each 6-part series, kind of check things out, see what's glowing, what's growing. Lots of really good glows. People who say it feels like a safe place to learn, especially when it's facilitated by colleagues. So getting some good feedback on that from the ones that were presented last semester. Big shout out on leveraging the teachers as experts as designers and presenters. Putting teachers on stage and having teachers be part of the builders cohort is a big deal. So I think that kind of gets back to how Westlake does what we do. And some of the grows are like, could you give me some more grade level specific? I'm a 3rd grade teacher, and the content seems global for K-6. Sure, would like to get some 3rd grade content or see more 3rd grade, some of that personalization right there. So just a little update on PD. You as a board pour a ton of money into professional learning, right? Like every other week, 32 weeks a year, we spend 2 hours where the entire staff goes through learning. And so it's a big investment for us. And if you were to ask what makes us different, like if people say, oh, what's so special about your charter school? One of the things you do differently is the way you engage in professional learning around the year. Whereas a lot of school districts and schools will do a PD day in October and a PD day in March. And those are your 2 learning days. Here we are learning all the way across the year. So love to just shout that out. Any questions, thoughts, or concerns? Cool. Just kind of looking forward to the recruitment season right now. I want to kind of talk a little bit through about that. In the 2026 intent to return process is already underway. It's one of my favorite meetings of the year. We say, hey, are you thinking about coming back next year? on the survey, or you're not coming back next year, or you're a maybe for next year. And even if you are a yes, I'm coming back, if you want to have one of these intent to return meetings so you can talk about what grade level do you want to teach and how, do you need any extra support or resources for some of the things you're doing, we always ask the same 3 questions. Hey, what are you doing in the fall? What do you want that to look like? Where are you growing? So, hey, you want to go get your master's, or is there any special professional learning you're looking for? And the third question we always ask is, make Westlake better. What do you know that we should know? And it's such a cool conversation. So, we get probably about 50-60% of our staff do an intent to return meeting with us. Hubba?
I've done one every year since I've been
Totally.
here. I don't plan on going anywhere, but I always love the time for myself to reflect
Yeah.
on where have I been and where am I going.
Yeah.
And just time face to face with you or other admin, and they take notes so I can be like, how many times have I said that I wanted to teach kindergarten?
And you can scroll back, and you can, it's funny because I always say that we use the same Google Doc year after year after year, so you can scroll back and see Jeanette Mixix going, I don't know, I'm a 4th grade teacher. Could I really teach middle school? And you scroll forward, and she's like, I'm a middle school teacher. You think I should teach high school? You scroll forward, and you're like, it's really, it's this great opportunity. So, it's very Westlakey. We're small enough that we can continue doing that. I don't think, a big school district could have every teacher come in and sit with the superintendent and go, make us better. But you start to hear these really interesting, like, oh, I heard someone else say something similar. Okay, and it's just it's kind of like a focus group, a one-on-one focus group. So that piece is underway, and so we're already, hearing like, oh, we know of one teacher who is getting married and moving to another state, and we're super happy for them, but we're very sorry to see them leave. And so we're already posting positions and starting to strategize for like, okay, where are we recruiting? So we're obviously going to the Sacramento State Career Fair, the Charter School Career Fair, and the Sacramento County Office of Education Career Fair. We put in the Westlake Weekly. Hey, any teachers want to go and represent at the thing? We've already had a couple of clicks of people who would like to stand in the booth and represent Westlake, which is always super cool. We put some hiring posts out on social media. We're engaging in really kind of we're kind of jumping out and trying to get in the tank early this year because we actually know that there are some organizations out there that are pink slipping. We are not, obviously, but there's organizations out there in the region where you go, hey, if they're gonna tell people that they might not be coming back, well, then we want to let you know early that we're hiring if you're, somebody who's high quality and looking for a gig. So we're trying to get out there early in the applicant pool right now. Oops, I guess that was last piece. So yeah, we're just excited about that. We think we'll have a good season. Any questions on that?
Question. When do your intent to return process survey, when do you complete that process?
We put it out in early January. It kind of buttons up by January 31st. If you forgot to fill it out, we ping you and go, hey, did you not fill it out because you're leaving? Where are you going, Sapphire? So we ping people, and it's buttoned up by February. Yeah, so by now we know who said, yes, I'm staying, who said, no, I'm leaving, and who said maybe. And all the maybes we meet with and go, hey, let's jam. What are you thinking? Where are you going? You got your admin credential. You want to go look for an admin gig, or, oh, you're thinking about, some people are moving. So by now we know all of that. Yeah. It's, Sean.
The Sac State Career Fair, is that for the School of Education? So is that all for teachers?
It's all edu. Yeah. You're not in a room full of, it's just edu, and you're in there because that's a big regional one. I mean, so you're in there, and our little Westlake booth, super swaggy with Everest, and we're all, looking good, and you're right next to like Bakersfield Unified. You're like,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, oh yeah, and you're like, okay, Fresno, so they are. It's a statewide big deal. So, and if you walk around, because lots of people from lots of places. You're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing in Fresno? That's great. So yeah, it's a fun room to walk because all the big locals are there too. All 13 school districts are there, but then all your local charters are there too.
So I guess that kind of leads into. So I was going to ask whether UC Davis, because they have a teaching credential program too. They don't do something like that because Sac State does the whole thing.
They don't. Davis does not hold one.
Okay.
But what they do at this fair is they have interview booths, and if you want to, you can interview right on the spot, and people interview and make offers. I mean, for those highly sought after credentials, those math credentials, those special education credentials, people come through, they're like, you're hired, come to Bakersfield, because you got these, and And it's tough because we're local and we're like, hey, let's talk. And these guys are throwing out big bonuses to relocate. And a lot of these young people are coming out of Sac State and they're like, let's move to Bakersfield, you know? Yeah. It's good. Are you really? Wow. If you see any good teachers down there, bring them on this way. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a brother-in-law. He's like, hey, me too. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I brought up Bakersfield. Everybody's got a Bakersfield connection. As I was saying it, I literally was like, is that a real place, Bakersfield? You ever say a word, you're like, Bakersfield? Is that the quarterback from Tampa Bay? Bakersfield. All right. Lottery updates. So I've got all the lottery information back. I'm going to kind of bring you down to today. You're at 1,289 total applications, which compared to our highest year, this big bubble up here, that's a pretty significant drop between those two. Then you go back to when we thought we were the coolest kids on the block in 2019, and you're like, okay, I don't think in 2019 I think in 2019 we thought we were pretty hot stuff. And then you hit the pandemic. I think post-pandemic you got to like flight. Get me out of where I'm at. And I wonder if it's leveling back off. I do though, I look at like, we have a reduced number of applications, which concerns me, but I do look back at the 2019 and go, we're okay. I do look at the increased number of available seats in our neighboring district. I mean, NB3 has gotten bigger, and NCS have got exists, but they have not gotten bigger. But NB3 is now at full capacity in their elementary. Heredia Arriaga is now at full capacity in their elementary. And since the district went TK all the way across, you got a lot of families that want to get into TK. They are where they are. They're like, well, why would I move? And so I think that's possible. I do look down here and kind of go, these numbers up here versus these numbers down here seem like the larger hit, and I wonder if that's from there, and I wonder if that grows across, and we'll see. We are seeing, I had like 4 more slides, I cut them, but we are, because I started going like, okay, how long do they want the meeting? But there is like this interesting bubble of like, we happen to have a lot of, around the 4, 5, 6 siblings in the high school. So if you have a 9th grader, it seems more plausible that you have a 4th, 5th, 6th grader than a kindergartner because of the spread, right? But so we are seeing, and I'll show you the sibling data here, which is kind of leveled off, right? Because sibling data was going, as we opened the high school, we're like 128 siblings, 154, 175. We were worried coming into this year that you were going to like, have too many, and siblings seem to be flattening out or leveling off. But look at the, you got these kind of big sibling numbers down here, right? Yeah, look at those guys. Now, those aren't all just siblings from the high school, but this is how many siblings and staff students are currently today, as of the 12th of today, still on the wait list, right? And last year we showed these numbers and it was like 25 and 1. This year they're 20 and 3. So just a thing to say out loud. Here we are in February, and we still have 20 siblings on the wait list. Yeah. Big, right? So you're usually, you're going to get through your siblings in kinder, and you're going to get through your siblings in 9th, right? But if you get stuck in the middle,
and sometimes 6th, right? 6th is also
6th is a good move here. It's a big, you're going to get some rollover in 6th grade. Although that's
it's minimizing.
It's minimalized over the last several years. But yes, this is where you are. I just think that's interesting. Employee and sibling data.
So that's last year's sibling data.
These are the kids. Because we haven't pulled lottery yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, but we would know the number of siblings. We're going through to confirm the siblings.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, these guys here are these guys here. Good call. Yeah, good call. Yeah, so you had 17 siblings in 6th, and you got through them. But these 4th graders have grown.
So wait, hold on. So is this the last year's wait? It's 26. So is this?
Oh, you're right. It's these guys here.
Right.
You're right. It's these guys here.
Yeah,
It's these guys.
but this is waitlist data as of 26, not.
Well, no. So I don't have the 26 on the.
It should be 26. Yeah,
It isn't in a chart, but
No. This is the ones who are in the lottery as of today.
Yeah.
right? They're as of today. So those ones are not in the school yet.
We just meant as of, it should be in 2020.
Oh.
It's right, it's what I was trying to say. It's right
It
in
is
the chart.
today.
No, it is
Yeah.
today. Wrong year, my fault. You're right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My brain is
Yes.
just not processing.
But I did connect though that these would be those numbers there, right?
No, they'd be 25.
25.
I don't think so. I think well, maybe. Okay, maybe. Let's go
Because
back and
that's
look.
last year's sibling preferences, and they'd still be sitting on this year's wait list.
Okay, I see. Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right.
you can see
It's
how many
this,
have
You're right.
moved.
You're right.
Yeah.
This deck is
this
as
year.
of today.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And that's
So, can you go back to that?
yep.
For me, ninth grade's interesting. I just think that's interesting.
Well, ninth grade's come down a little bit.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, right? We started here, kind of went up, big boom, and then kind of it's slowly coming down. It's funny because you get a lot of summertime movement there too. You get a lot of late applications.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people going like, that didn't work.
Yeah. All right, I'm glad we worked through that. It's funny because Melissa walked me through this slide twice today, and I still got it wrong. Sorry, Melissa. All right, good. Yeah, I think the lottery numbers are really interesting. We were even looking at Sacramento County birth rate, and it's been coming down, but not to explain that, right? But the birth rate data has come down, so we went back to like, okay, this kid was born in, what did we say? It was like, this kid was, something like that. This kid was born at 18, and from 18 all the way through, you watch the birth rate kind of come down, but
You got one more in kinder.
We did get one more. We were at 271. We're rocket shipping back up to 272 right there.
Well, and as we've talked about in the past, like, maybe there's a little less hope about getting in off the
It's possible.
like, right? Because, you very clearly say we currently have no openings in those grade levels.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, the word on the street is out that, like, if you're on the first grade wait list, you could be on that second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and not get in. It happens a lot.
Do you happen to know, and it's okay if you don't, what percentage the district has decreased?
I don't know the numbers. We should pull that and bring it back.
I'm just
though.
curious because I know their numbers are decreasing, so
It's-
I think it might be an interesting
it's a-
correlation.
It's a good point because, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, they actually presented on their forecast last night,
They
so
did.
they're presenting flat enrollment for next year.
But what about the year before?
We
'Cause
can
I
go back
know it
and
went
pull and take a
down.
look. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's just curious.
And I think they may have presented on flat the year before and then gone down. So, I mean, what we're presenting on what happens might be a little different. I don't know. Yeah. And I think at one point, and I'll misquote, but I think we said it in this room. At one point, we thought our kinder was pulling about 10% of all kinder application, of all kinder
Yes.
enrollment in the district. So we said, okay, if you take our kindergarten class, Natomas Unified School District's kindergarten, NP3 Natomas Charter, and you add up all those kindergartners, and let's say there's 1,000 kindergartners in the whole district, and then we went to our application pool, and we were let's say we were getting 100, we're like, we're getting 10%. So, and that might have been back here, in these years here, and there might have been, 3,400.
3,500.
Yeah, 3,500 kinders. Like, okay, we're pulling about 10% of all kindergarten
So
applications
I
in
think
the
that
district.
would be
That would be
really
an interesting-
cool correlation.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
we should draw that out and see what's happening. Yeah, interesting. I do think though, I mean, that's a pretty significant drop from here to here, and I don't think the district has had that much of a drop. I really do think TK offerings, an expansion like Heredia Arriaga probably cut into that.
Something else that I've heard kind of people talk about when deciding schools for kindergartners is also, back in 2023 and 24, there was a lot of remote work. Parents had remote working for parents who had flexibility if they weren't, local to this, maybe across on the other side of Del Paso. Yeah, okay, I'll sit through 3 schools of traffic, H. Allen,
That's true.
come through. I don't. You guys, it's 8:30. I was used to at TK at 8:15. 15 minutes, add on the additional traffic, not even worth my time.
That's interesting.
I've heard that quite a lot.
Well, it's funny because in the strategic plan survey, when we said why Westlake, I was fascinated to see. I mean, there was like 25, it was like 19 or 25, somewhere in there, a pretty high number of like near my house. And I was like, you didn't pick us for the cool brand? You didn't pick us for the coolest brand? Nope, just you're close to my house. I was like, okay.
That's a really good point. I know people who have left Westlake, and I felt kind of
a certain way.
happened. And they're like, I just wanted them to be able to walk to school, and this school is close to my house, and because I don't want to, like, I can't, or I don't want to anymore.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
starting to pick that up. A lot of really good,
Yeah.
making that comment in the community in various ways.
Yeah. It's good. I love it. All right. Well, thanks for the time, everybody. I think it is back to you, Hope.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Just kidding. Oh, it's not short. Oh, you're in mine, huh? Just kidding about that.
I was like all excited for a second.
We were doing the governor's budget. My fault. My fault. I thought that was on the agenda. No, my fault. And I wanted to say one more thing.
One more thing.
That the governor of California has a budget. Can you explain that?
Oh, it's me? You?
I hear there's images maybe in this presentation.
There might be some images and a couple. No, it's not this part. Yeah.
No, but there's no
There
gifts,
might-
but there'll be some GIFs. There's GIFs in there. All right, take it away, Steve.
Yeah, all right. So the governor came out a little more than a month ago with his January budget proposal. So this is the time where he presents what he anticipates the budget may look like come the end of the year. Again, it is just a proposal. It's italicized there. A lot will happen between now and May when he comes up with his May revise, which we'll base our June budget on. So he acknowledged when he came out there's a lot of revenue volatility anticipated, as is always in the state of California, because a lot of California's budget is based upon personal income tax, and personal income tax in California is just exceptionally volatile. So talking about volatility, here's a couple of headlines from just the past couple of years. If you have a buckle up, you want to know buckle up. So you look back to May of 22, California was projecting at that time a $97 billion surplus. Great times, right? And that's on a $300 billion budget, right? So you talk about percentage-wise, that is an exceptionally large surplus. Flash forward, a little more than a year later. Nope, it's not a surplus. You're now looking at a deficit of about $68 billion. You jump forward about another year. Oh, we're back on the other side with about $17 billion. And you come forward to where we are now with a slight deficit of about a mere $3 billion.
Holding in on it. I mean,
Yeah, you're narrowing it down, right? So, you can see how quickly things can change year to year to year in California, and particularly how that can roll down to all of their programs, including how they fund schools. So, it's just something to be mindful of as you see headlines kind of this popping up out there. So here's your gift for the evening, because we'll talk about COLA, cost of living adjustments. Thanks. So the COLA proposed right now is 2.41%, and I mention that because while we're nice to have a COLA, it's down about 0.5% from where it was projected to be back in May of 25. And that is also the same reduction that it was last year. So last year, the COLA was cut by 0.5%. This point in January, he again cut it by 0.5%. And those 0.5% cuts don't sound like a lot, but they stack and they're additive over time. And 0.5% dollar-wise is about $100,000. So you figure about 100 grand, stacks on 100 grand, stacking going forward. It just adds up over time. And talking about how quickly COLA can kind of move. So back in 22-23, we had a 6.5% COLA. A year later, COLA went up to 8%, right? They're very good times. In July of 23, we were projecting out into the following year of 24-25 to have almost a 4% COLA, right? So a year later, have a 4% COLA. 6 months later, in January of 24, right, we were like, oh, it's not going to be a 4% COLA. You might get 1%. And actually, we were at that time thinking it might be 0%. Thankfully, he came out and said, well, you're going to get at least 1%. So slightly more than 1% in 24-25. And then in 25-26, it ended up with 2.43%. So again, big swings in COLA can have big impacts on budgets. And it's particularly important for us now because at full enrollment, we are essentially living in a COLA-only growth budget. In years past, when we saw grade levels grow, we saw more income coming that way, but really now it's tied a lot to COLA. So other points for the governor's budget. That 2.41% not only goes to the local control funding formula, but also goes to things like special education, mandated programs, and things like that. He's proposed to help stabilize some of the early learning opportunity funds, which is great for us, and increase the funding there. Once again, he's proposing some discretionary block grants. You'll recall last May, when we adopted our budget, that was not in our budget because it came through a little bit later on, so it was in our first interim. So he's at least talking about doing some more discretionary one-time dollars again. So we'll see if it's in May or June. So again, it may come back in our first interim next year. We'll see if that happens again. And then he's talking about increasing special education funding specifically, which we always appreciate because we could always have high need in that area. So just a couple things from his proposal. We'll continue to monitor things as they develop throughout the year, and we'll be back next month with second interim, and then back in June for the adopted budget.
Steve, can I ask,
Yeah.
last year, at the same time, again, the governor proposed, I could be wrong, I thought he proposed something that didn't go through in terms of a grant. One did, there was a block grant that went through. Wasn't there something that was completely cut and it had an impact on us? Sorry, I don't recall.
That's a great question. He proposes a lot of things, yeah.
I'm curious, like how likelihood, I always thought prior years compared to last year, everything had always come through. I think last year was the first time something actually didn't come
right.
through.
I think there were two, and I'm trying to think about the dollar amount. I think it was like around $2 billion or something like that may have not come through, and I can bring it back. In these particular items up here, so the $2.8 billion is a little bit of a question mark. It's really, I think, depending upon whether the economy continues to perform how it's performing, right? So if revenues still continue to come in, personal income tax continues to come in, then that might be something that you see. The $757 million, that is actually something that he owes schools. So this year, at first interim, you saw money come in from a learning recovery emergency block grant because he clawed money back a couple years ago, and then he was sued, and so now he's having to pay it back, and so he's paying it back. Well, he was going to pay it back in 3 chunks, so he paid 1 chunk back this year, and he's proposing to pay back these 2 chunks back next year. But as far as like one that was proposed, I can go back and check.
This helps at least about these two.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that second bullet point on there, the learning recovery one is probably more certain than the other one, but we'll kind of see how it comes through. Yeah. That's good.
The one other piece that is it not up there is this budget strangely had put out that there might be some future restrictions or rules that would be applied to charter schools. That hasn't been fully fleshed out yet. I know CSDC this week is starting to be able to read the tea leaves about that, but it was an interesting inclusion in a budget proposal. So all our various entities are watching that closely to see if anything comes to fruition. It was a rough legislative cycle, and so it's going to be it'd be really curious, right? Because he can propose this, but he has to get both houses on his side first, and so a lot can change between now and June.
True. Yep.
Super duper.
Now it's my turn.
Now it's back to you. Whoop, that's not where I'm going.
Ashley, would you mind doing a check for public comment? Seeing none. Thank you. So now we have our consent agenda. We only have 3 items on it this evening. If there are no questions about those 3, is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Nerali. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Second?
Yes.
Sally?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nerali?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Thank you. Our first item, just our general item scheduled for action, is the comprehensive school safety plan.
Yes, we had our safety committee meet tonight for our 4th time of the year, I believe, and we've buttoned up the comprehensive school safety plan. I know it was on display for the last 2 months. Everybody had a chance to come take a look at it. Thank you to those of you who did come and take a look through it. And we're looking for a motion to approve tonight. If approved tonight, we'll sign it, and we will send a copy to the high school, put a copy at the K-8, and then send our 3rd copy to the Natomas Unified School District, where they will their board will receive and accept all of the safety plans for all of the schools in the district. They give to cut down a couple trees, for all the paper binders that they will have on one board meeting night next month. But if there's no questions, we'll seek an approval.
I'll move the comprehensive school safety plan.
I'll second. Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Saturday?
Yes.
Sally?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Norella?
Yes.
And Katie?
Yes.
Okay.
That brings us to our first discussion item, which is the local control accountability plan. There are no slides, correct? Are there slides now?
Oh, there's slides. We got slides.
There's a single slide.
A single slide. I
Well,
never brought this one.
I'm
so-
just
There's a
saying.
single slide.
Yeah, we got slides.
And, a couple bullet points too, but no gifts.
Okay.
Right. So the LCAP, the Local Control Accountability Plan, was created in 2013. Tied to that was tied to the local control funding formula. In 24, as a one-time only, of course, was a mid-year update that schools were required to do. But then it was codified, and now schools are required to do an annual mid-year update as part of the LCAP. Schools are also required to present it to the board, so it's presented to in your packets as part of the brief as a non-consent item, so it can't just be a consent thing go forward. So that's why it was in your packet when it was produced. So if you have any questions on the report, I'm glad to answer it. Otherwise, the formal LCAP for next year will come back for review in May, and then final for adoption in June. And that is it.
Thank you. Are there any questions right now? No? Okay. We'll move on to the next item, which is discuss strategic plan framework.
Oh, I got slides on that.
You do?
I do have slides. I knew there'd be more slides tonight. Well, I did put a board brief in the packet, and in the board brief, it describes this thing called the strategic plan framework. And I'm gonna kind of walk through that because it's not the strategic plan. What I'm coming to you tonight is asking, is this the way in which you want us to lay out this information, or does it not make sense? So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the contents itself, like are these the right goals-ish, are these the right actions-ish, but really what I want you to look at is is laying it out in this particular manner useful at this particular time in our history? Are you with me? So the slides will tell the whole show. I'll just follow the slides. Here we go. So I'm kind of unpacking the framework. It's very much a work in progress, meaning we are right where we want to be. We came out of phase one, got all the data. We really have a clear understanding of what our community thinks and feels and wants. But now we're what order do you want to put all this information into a strategic plan? So what you're looking at is very much a work in progress, and this draft is a proof of concept. The draft is more about the organization of the information than about the information and the content itself. But I'm right at this place where I want to get your thoughts on how we lay this out, what's important to you, what could leave, and then we'll button it up and get you a solid draft next month. So, as you know, we've collected literally thousands of pieces of data, and it's been super fun. We've got stories and perspectives and thoughts from students and staff and families. I was looking at a local school district who had recently done a big LCAP survey, and they were celebrating the over almost 200 families that took their 5-question survey. And they're a 15,000, 16,000 seat school district, and I was like, our little Westlake Charter School had over 300 families who filled out our very long, more than 5-question survey. So I thought we did a really good job of getting the stories of our people. So we surveyed families, staff, and students. We held family focus groups. We had classified and certificated focus groups. We also had employee satisfaction, compensation, and benefits focus groups. So we really got rich data here, and we focused on what's working well and what could be improved. And we shared the findings along the way from October till now with the board. The finance committee's actually seen some of the data in a unique way. And the admin team has really had an opportunity to rally around the data and pick it apart and board it up so we can come to this place of I think these are the next steps that we want to present to the board as actions. So we've got a chance to look through it. So we've synthesized all the findings like I really feel like we have a rich understanding of where we are and where we think we're going. We've synthesized them into an understanding of our strengths. What are we doing well? An understanding of the beliefs and values that drive those strengths, right? And then a potential set of actions to improve our practices, which may just like it looks like 3 little bullet points, but it's like a ton of work. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I mean, I'm such a nerd. So from these, we've created goals and strategic plan framework that I'm gonna kind of unpack this right now. So the preamble is, I think at this point in our Westlake Charter School history, it's important to kind of note where we are. Because it's really interesting. Like if you go back and read the strategic plan from 2005 and 10 and 15, 14, and then the 19, these strategic plans really tell you who you are as an organization. And 2005 is the best because you're like, we're going to build a school out of nothing. And then you get to 2019 and we're like swaggering, you know, because we are really feeling like we've gone from surviving to striving to thriving. And we're like, let's open a high school in the middle of a pandemic. We went, I think, back to striving, you know, which is at one point maybe even surviving. Like, let's be honest. So, but I think it's a normal part of the kind of maturation of an organization that expands. I mean, when you grow, you kind of step back into like, okay, we're striving, but we got to get back to thriving. So I think we're in a natural place, given our circumstances, to be where we are. So I think schools and organizations in our position, in this maturation cycle, should probably pause and go, hey, what got us here? What got us that point in 2019 when we thought we were thriving? And how do we make sure we hold on to things we don't want to lose? So this strategic plan that I'm thinking we're going to produce, I think should have some of the, what do we believe? What do we value? What do we do well? And what should we do next? Rather than just a list of what comes next. So I think an organization like ours in a maturation cycle that we're in should document our beliefs, our values, our practices, the ones that we just never want to lose. Because if you, for example, wrote a strategic plan that said, go out there and really go after test scores. I know that's not, but if you say, hey, we really want, you could wander away from joyful learning. You could wander away from field lessons. You could wander away from that, you know, that really what makes us us. So therefore, within the framework that you'll see tonight, we have these structures that resemble what's working well and what would be better if. So I'm going to show you, like, you'll read and go, oh, that's basically what's working well, what would be better if, which kind of resembles all of the data we've been collecting this whole time. The whole thing launches with just 3 goals. So you have 3 goals only. The last strat plan had these 5 goals. None of them were measurable. They were just like, we're going to demonstrate what's possible. Like, that's not measurable, but it's an awesome statement. And then they had objectives beneath them, and some of them were measurable, some were not measurable. But then you end up with 35, or, you know, hard to measure different things. And no one really knew all the things we were working on. So I thought, okay, well, this time, what if we only had 3 goals? So that everybody in the organization could say, oh, I get it. We're talking about ensuring high levels of staff retention and development. We're talking about creating systems of clarity in critical areas. That's where you would work on like behavior, special education, and improve systems of personalization for student outcomes. You go, okay, you got only 3 goals in this whole thing. What will you do? Well, we'll take a look. If you have 3 goals, we think they cut across all the domains. And then we think having a short list of goals might help all of us inside the organization really know what we're working on for the next 5 years so we don't get lost in the weeds or get distracted. It might be a good rallying point for kind of a rebrand. So you'll see inside this framework this idea that you would create these goals and you'd articulate them in kind of more detail. So we would imagine the finalized strategic plan would have, oh, you know what? I forgot to give you your worksheet. Would you give everybody their worksheet? Could I have a worksheet? We gotta have worksheets, man. So as I'm riffing through this first part, I'll get you this worksheet first. As I'm about to get to the first breakout part, I'm like, oh, you didn't have a chance to look at this. My fault. So what I'm going to want you to do tonight is in feedback section 1, we're going to be talking about goals, right? and actions, and I'm going to describe those right now. In breakout 2, we're going to be talking about the beliefs and values. In breakout 3, I'm going to be like, well, that's what I want you to give me feedback. Oh, I like that goal, or I want to edit that goal, or I want to add a new goal. So if you're thinking already like, ooh, I want to change that goal, that comes in section 3. In section 1, I'm just going to say, is 3 goals enough? Do you like the way that lays out? Do you want more goals, less goals? Are these actions enough? Do they make sense? So the first questions I'm going to ask are like about the layout. Does it make sense to you to have just 3 goals and a set of actions associated? The next question I'm going to ask is about beliefs and values. Do they belong in there? And the last one is, let's actually talk about goals and actions. That way you can follow along. So let me take you back up 2 slides. I'm going to go backwards so that you can track me, because we're going to get to the first feedback question. So going back, so imagine you only had 3 goals to keep it tight. And then imagine you had a goal articulation sheet or a page or 2 that really breaks down like, what do you mean by goal 1? That's like 8 words. That's not very detailed. So on the front of a poster, on the front of a graphic organizer, on the front of a logo, on the front of you'd probably just have the 8-word goal. But on this articulation page, it would really spell out, what do you guys mean by recruit and develop high-quality staff members? What are you trying to do there? You'd also see, and I want you to see this list of actions right here, these are like the objectives from the old strat plan. And what you'll see here is that this list of actions, each one of those is measurable or actionable. And here's what I think. And if you look up at the screen, you'll see this. Each goal's got a little icon. So this is goal number 1. It's a little light blue one. Each one of these actions has a little set of icons next to it. So you'll be able to say, okay, well, clarifying systems and roles and policies regarding student behavior, I think that's definitely going to hit goal 2 because that's creating system clarity. But it's also going to hit goal 1 because we heard very clearly in the data that one of the big high retention pieces is, as a staff, we want to get a handle on behavior. Does that make sense? So as you look through prioritizing these action plans, because you could do anything you want, you can't do everything you want, you can't do it all in year 1, we would get together as a staff and go, what's the highest priority action you would want to take? And you start to look through here and start to go, okay, what are the high value targets? So in this particular framework that I'm laying out, you would be measuring these 3 goals, and you'd be using these actions to make those goals better. So let's take a look at the next slide. The last thing is you'd have a set of metrics to measure the goals. So if you were looking at high levels of staff retention and development by looking at attrition rates, professional development rates, annual self-efficacy survey, if you want to see all those trending up, my proposal is do these light blue things here. So if we're executing on clarifying systems of behavior, improving special education reforms, working on compensation and benefits, if you start to do those things, then this data around the retention should improve. So here comes my questions. How do you feel about having a smaller number of goals? And how do you feel about actions that are kind of like a task list? Check, we got, it's a year-long check, but check, we did this thing. Actions is tasks, the tasks themselves aren't really measured. They're accomplished, but it's the impact on the goals that is measured. How do you feel about having goals, just a few of them, and actions like this? Not yet talking about what the goals are or what the actions are, because I think they're all very well grounded in the data, but like just the fact that you would only have 3 goals. Nerali?
So my initial take, I like the idea that we have a smaller number of goals. It does definitely provide a lot of clarity. It gives us where we are in our growth as a school is not, it seems like we're trying to go towards now, like, I don't want to call it the final stage, but it's, there's an evolution.
Yeah.
It's where the hard parts of developing the K through 8,
Yeah.
K through 12. So I think creating much more focused goals is great. What I think about actions as tasks it's an interesting concept, because it's, while not measurable, it's tangible.
Yeah.
Right? That's, yeah. While not measurable, it's tangible. The one thing I just see by looking at these actions, all of them impact goal 2. Is that a lot of actions,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, I'm just processing kind of the idea. And are we limiting by having these actions listed, are we almost pigeonholing ourselves into these actions being the solution to a measure to this?
Yeah. It's a great question. It's a great question. Yeah, and we'll get down to the point where we're saying, are these the right actions? I'm going to ask you, are these the right actions? And what actions are missing? And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we don't have an action of like, refresh the tan bark on the K8. That would hit goal 1, So we'll get to like the what's, but I love the concept of like, by having a list, are you pigeonholing yourself? It's a good question.
Can I build on that?
Yeah.
So what I appreciated was the use of may. So sometimes you can get bogged down if you make every goal like something you can achieve, because what if you achieve all those during the life of the strategic plan? Whereas I felt like this version breathes in a different way, and the fact that these may be the tasks we're considering now, that it also leaves us open for change over time.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the additional flexibility. This is
It'd
unusual for me.
be good to codify that though into the next version of like some little preamble thing of like, while we think these list of actions are the ones that we'll target, like actually writing in here that this is a potential living document, and that we may find the next action. We didn't write it down, but it's definitely the next step in whatever thing. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to try to write in there.
It's hard, but like, sorry, just because like
Oh, that's a-
some things that they build naturally, and as you investigate some of these things, new tasks may, like, the light bulb may go up, like, oh, that's the button we've been missing.
Yeah, and there's also then like tasks within tasks. You start one task and go, well, this is actually not one task; it's 50 tasks. Yeah. Sally, you got one?
I'm glad you guys said it in that way, because that's what I was worried about, is that we would, with only 3 goals, that it would be too limiting. And then with the actions listed, I don't have as much experience, obviously, as you do with this, but I'm like, is it too much? So
Yeah, it's a little too linear.
Yeah.
I really like having actions, because I recently went through a strategic planning, and I think our old set of goals were just kind of open-ended, and it's like, I guess we could say we met that, or we could say we failed. It's like, sometimes goals are so
Aspirational.
or just loose, right? Where it's like, you say something and it's like, well, I guess over here we kind of met that, but we didn't over here. And so I feel like this kind of keeps you moving forward towards a way to actually meet that goal versus just having the goal there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think there's a moment here too where we're in the actual draft of the strat plan. You'd have to create the kind of ethos of the organization in the document, where you're saying, hey, what you see are the action steps that we will take. However, we pride ourselves on innovation, and if the next thing comes along that's going to move that goal, we leave ourselves open to do that, or to pivot as an organization where needed. Right?
I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm saying it out loud so it gets in the notes, because we'll do those. But like, there's a how do you get loose and tight in the same document?
To give yourself space.
Yeah, well, to give us that. That's where we thrive a little bit, and it's a little bit of our story. Westlake, we're innovative, but I do think, and we'll talk about it in section 3, but there is this moment where codifying some of our really best practices before they get lost in the next generation is probably critical, especially as you've expanded. It's important to stop right now and go, what's working? And Hope?
I also appreciate having fewer goals. I feel like in some ways it's more manageable. But what I was left wondering was goals 2 and 3, right, create, improve, they're softer. Whereas for goal every 1, you're saying ensure. And so if that, and of course we want staff retention. I understand the goal of it over time, but ensuring is a different type of commitment. And so I feel like you can't really, I don't use fail. We don't fail here. but I feel like if you were
We
going,
fail. We just learn from it.
we learn from it. But like, so goal areas 2 and 3 leave more room for improvement, where
Yeah.
ensure is a different commitment.
Yeah.
At least in my use of that word.
I'm gonna ask you to say the whole thing again when I get to question 3. Because
Not too soon. Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
you're good. You're good. I think it's just that when we get there, that's when I want to get into the. Let's tear it apart a little bit. I want to edit, omit. I've also
sorry.
no, you're good. I also am thinking like, what's missing, what needs to get added, when it gets. But yeah, it's a perfect comment, and I agree. And I love verbs. Like, what verb do we gonna use here?
Truly do.
I truly do.
You like
That's an adverb. That's an adverb. Other thoughts on how do you feel about the small number of goals? How do you feel about these actions being associated with the goals being measured? Any thoughts? Neroli?
Is the idea on page 6 there, it talks about how things will be measured by, that's not something we're including in the chart, that's just you giving us.
No, I do think that
I don't know if that's part of this.
yeah, I think you will have a progress monitoring methodology
Okay.
to measure progress on the goals. Because again, to meet goal area 1, to ensure, or to, not kidding, to ensure high levels of staff retention, to do that, I think you're going to work on compensation. That's an action. I think you're going to work on solving for behavior. That's an action. I think you're going to you balance that teachers, designers thing that we hear in the data that says that I love it, but it also leads to burnout, and we're going to try to work on that. That's an action. If we do those actions right, then these metrics, attrition and retention metrics, right? This is something flying around. You know, these employee satisfaction surveys, they should trend in the right direction. So if we do these actions, we should see results on these metrics. And so we're only measuring 3 things as a board. So we're not coming here and being like, where are we on our 27-point dashboard of 27 different actions? We're just saying, hey, on these 3 goals, are we trending in the right direction or not?
Yeah, no, that helps. I think that just holds us, holds the school accountable and us altogether accountable by having.
No, it holds us accountable. It's
Yeah,
our plan.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I was
us.
like, yeah, holds us accountable.
Yeah, this one, this is kind of, yeah, there's a lot in there. But
So that helps and kind of
Okay.
clarifies. I just wasn't sure if that was just an example you're giving us.
yeah, and maybe, well, once we know what the goals really are, then we'll hone in on a clear set of metrics. You know, one of them obviously is very student oriented, and I'm sure there's like a criterion 2 target thing in there probably. You know, if we're doing what we think works, that data will be produced over here. Let's go. Any other thoughts on this? Moving forward. So let's go into the second piece where I'm going to ask you, do you believe that values, practices, and commitments have value in the plan? Are the stories and testimonies useful? Is that a useful component? Does it help to have the actions spelled out after you read the beliefs and commitments? Let me say that out loud so you can process it while I talk. But let's dive into the strategic plan itself. So imagine you picked up this strategic plan. Page 1, some little preamble, the mission, the vision, and these 3 goals. And you're like, 3 goals? Where do these? And then you turn and you go, oh, all these potential actions. Where do these potential actions come from? And you're like, okay, there are 5 or 6 sections of our mission statement. There is demonstrate what's possible, which we use as a proxy for organizational health, right? There's school and community collaborate, which we use as a proxy for the school and community collaborating, right? There's academic readiness, social readiness, inspiring adults, and leading global citizens. Each one of them kind of means something to us as an organization. So you thumb through the strategic plan, and it goes through all 6. Those used to be 6 goal areas in the old strat plan. Now I'm not sure what to call them. Mission aligned areas or mission areas. I'm not sure yet. But like I wanted to go through and unpack one at a time. So in this proposal, I just did 1 section, not all 6 sections. So I said, okay, we demonstrate what's possible, and there'll probably be some little preamble underneath there, like what we mean by that. This is a proxy for organizational health. If we're doing this well, people are looking at us and saying, that's the school. They got their act together, right? And then I laid out beliefs and values to get to these actions. So the question is, where do these actions come from? So by listening to thousands of participants, we learned something. which is weird because I feel like I know this place well, but I'm really, every 5 years you learn who we are. So we learned what's working from the family perspective, from the teacher perspective, from the classified perspective, from the board, right? From students. We learned what's working well, what are our practices and our commitments. But what was really cool is we dove in deep and started codifying like values and beliefs, which then became your why. You're like, oh, well, that's why we do the things we do, because we believe what we believe. And so this little example is just mission area 1. So imagine the strat plan. How do I keep it to like 5 pages? You can see it's already going to be several pages, but let's look. So you got these mission area 1, you got these beliefs and values, right? The greatest asset of our organization is the commitment of its people. The longer students, staff, and family members remain a part of our school, the stronger we become, right? So you're like, we are definitely a people-centered organization. We're not, right? So if you look at how the values lay out, and then you scroll down, you read these practices and commitments, you're like, oh, well, you believe in people, and you invest in people. And you believe in financial stewardship and being nimble and flexible, yet you see it echo down here. Does that make sense? So we also added in these testimonies. I don't know if you guys caught those, but like we took some data of what people said that made us believe these things that we wrote down. So it wasn't just like, oh, John made all this up. It's actually all in the data. So we put it in here. I could have done 20 pages on just the testimonies. I'll be like, so I just put 2 in there. I mean, I wonder to myself out loud, if you ever built a digital version of this, could you click on it and it'll pop out? Because there's so many just nuggets of people saying such good stuff about how our beliefs and values align with our commitments and practices, right? There's all these nuggets in there about how my teacher does this awesome thing, and you read it and you go, yeah, well, it's because we believe this. So we got these testimonies in there. And then finally, we synthesized areas for future action based on the data we collected. So we kind of called it gap analysis. So theoretically, if I looked at our values and our beliefs and how that aligns with our practices and commitments, you would find what's next, or some gap analysis. Steve and I were kind of riffing on like, oh, compensation and benefits is something that if we are working on, you would say, well, why is that here? Well, because we have this high value to our people, and we have this high investment in our people. So shouldn't our compensations and benefits be, equitable, competitive, and show the value to our people? Or this one around special education, right? Like clearly we have these high value pieces here, and you're like, okay, this is our next step. When we first invented full inclusion, man, you could see it from the moon. People were like, that school is demonstrating what's possible. And now we've grown, and we have a high school. We have to remodel what full inclusion means to us. And so it really fits here. Now, these are 3 actions out of the, 12 actions on that initial page. So you're like, okay, 3 go there. And you turn to school and community collaborate. Oh, there's 2 or 3 there. And then you turn to academic readiness. Oh, there's 2 or 3 there. And that's how you get that laundry list of actions, because they fall out across these 6 mission domains. So, super creative. Been sitting in front of my computer for a long time, working with Dr. Galloway. She's amazing. But the question really is like, do the beliefs and values and practices and commitments have value inside the pages of the plan? Because our old assumptions put them at the end, and the assumptions, if you read through them, like economic assumptions, I assume that the California economy is going to, have peaks and valleys over the next decade. That's really a global assumption. We will explore inclusivity at its broadest sense. And you're like, well, that's not really an assumption. That is a belief. It's an intent. It's a belief, right? And so you're like, I think what I'm trying to maybe do is pull our beliefs and values into the document and allow assumptions to live on that side of the document. But I need your feedback, and it's okay if you go, it's too wordy. Just put the goals and the actions. So how do you feel about beliefs, values, practices, and commitments inside the plan?
I think that it really helps me to like paint the bigger picture, because you talked about how there's been many strategic plans,
Yeah.
and like in this moment, in this era of Westlake, like this is who we are and why we are focusing in this way. So I think it's helpful
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, and as we've onboarded new staff over the last years, especially those post-pandemic years where we're trying to explain to people who we are, you know, for those of us who've been here for a long time, we're like, no, this is the way it is. This place is built on relational trust, and the new person's like, oh, I don't trust anybody yet. You're like, no, it's who we are. Yeah, it's a thing.
For me, this is the most important piece.
Okay.
Because this is just the part that I felt most strongly about, I think, is that we needed to put down in writing the things we don't want to change.
To capture our story.
And yes, just to say that this is who we are.
Right.
And we can get better.
Yeah.
But I think this also is positive, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very positive part of this
It's
document.
the what's working well.
Yes.
And what would be better if.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I like that too, is to go,
Yeah.
okay, these are awesome, but we can do better. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Raleigh?
I like having this as like a kind of forefront, like everyone's saying. My question is, I know the idea is to break this up by each mission area.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, with overlap between some of these beliefs, values across those different, repetitiveness, and whether that will be the most benefit thing. So I don't know if that's drilling down a little bit too much.
Yeah, I have a pretty solid sloppy copy draft. I mean, this actually, although it's super pretty with the pictures and stuff, this is still pretty sloppy copy for where I think we paused as a team to go, well, don't work too hard, because the board might be like, dude, we don't want beliefs and values. Get that out of here. So I think as I look across, it's funny because Dr. Galloway and I were talking today as we were putting the presentation together, and we actually are presenting the most complicated mission area because we demonstrate what's possible. It's pretty nebulous and large, so you could pretty much take every belief we have and put it there. And so as you get to academic readiness, first of all, you're going to define readiness, and then it's pretty short. You're like, hey, we have some beliefs. So I don't know that they'll be super repetitive. It would feel like it by reading this one, because these are the big globals. People matter, you know, and we'll definitely get into if you bring back all 5 sections, if we do that, or all 6 sections, we can definitely get into the that's too repetitive, or it's getting too long.
Okay.
Our worry is a little bit internally is about layout. I don't want a 30-page strat plan, you know. Nobody's gonna read that. Yeah, Sally and Hope. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just had the other piece was the testimonials and stories. Is that also per mission area, or is that?
Yeah, it is per mission. Yeah, because theoretically, those quotes support those beliefs and values. And again, we'll have to talk about whether they have value and take up page space, or if they link out to somewhere else cuter or something. But that's great.
You can always make them smaller.
Yeah, make them super small. Yeah, people just say interesting things about the school. It's worth putting in. Maybe we'll see. Sally, then Hope.
That's what I was gonna say, is the testimonials and stories support what we're trying to do, and it's evidence that we have a reason for working on these things. And you have testimonials and stories from such a wide range of stakeholders in our organization that you can highlight. Yes, we've asked, we heard, we listened.
Yeah, and it's actually a good point. I wonder if in the preamble, in the strat plan itself, you're laying out your sample population. Hey, over 300 families, over 1,000 students, hundreds of, I wonder. Yeah, so you're like, hey, this thing is.
I didn't just ask the people walking down the hall.
Yeah, I would just ask the board. Hey,
right,
the 9 of us said, yeah. Hope.
I just had a board meeting yesterday where my client produced an annual report, and they were called out for not including testimonials.
Oh, is that right?
Actually, which is funny because it's an air quality report. We've never put testimonials in, not really. But it was a great idea, and I thought it was really useful feedback, because you want your stakeholders to have buy-in to your plan. And in order to have buy-in, they need to see themselves in it.
That's a good point.
So testimonials let them see themselves. Data about, you know, who made up lets people see themselves. So making sure that they can see how it is meant to reflect them is important. I also, you know, knowing our love of the culture code, right, and that these goal areas may require some tough decisions at different times by the board, by administration, right? Having that uniform, you know, belief structure really could be something that we call back on. Like, this is a really hard decision, but if you look at this belief or this value, we are making that decision in accordance with this. It's Tylenol, right? It's like,
I think as we're drafting, I'm having that thought of like, well, I don't want so long that nobody reads it. I hope that everybody reads it and then at some point uses it in an argument with a friend. Hey, we should do this, or we should do that. Well, actually, you know, I think we all agree this. Yeah, I would hope that happens. Sapphire, Suzanne had her hand first, then Sat, then Sean.
For question number 3, feedback 2, where it says, does it help to have the actions spelled out after the beliefs and values? I like that because our beliefs and values should drive our actions.
Right, okay.
Or that should be the evidence of our actual beliefs and values. So I like to see it that way because I think it helps to.
Yeah, and as we lay it out, then hold me accountable. Like, read the beliefs, the commitments and practices, and then the actions, and say, like, do these really come from this data here? Like, hold me to that. Sean and Sat? Sat? I almost said Strat plan. Sat plan. Sapphire, go ahead.
For question number 2, I may be the only one, but I don't think that adds value. As someone who would pick up the strategic plan, if I see a few testimonial stories on there, the first thing that pops into my head is, are they nitpicking, right? That they only pick out these positive ones.
Oh, right, yeah.
Rather than negative ones. So I don't know if it adds anything to the strategic plan as far as why we chose the goals we did. But that's just my.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I love the counter feedback. It's good. It's good. I'll put all the data in there. 1,000. I mean, I've got 600 pages of testimonial. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Sean?
I wonder, I think kind of along the same lines, I like the testimonials and stories, but I don't know that they belong in the body per se. I almost see them like a bibliography
Or like an
appendix, you know, something that, or like, I don't want to say footnote because it has the connotation of like, footnote, but like,
I was almost
something that you can.
I was almost thinking though, Sean, like almost as like graphic bubble pop outs, maybe like so they're not in the body so much, but like you're like, oh, 5th grade mom said chicka chicka. Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe. So maybe not in the body, but maybe in the body, and maybe a bibliography. Sally.
This is making me feel like very Herman Brainish. So every year, do we do that as the board?
I don't know. We don't.
We did it 1 year.
Do we do it 1 year?
it's funny how it changes from year to year.
So we do it every single year as staff. Every single year since I've been here, we've done the Herman Brain, and the purpose is to show that it's important to have the data and the trends and the stories.
Yeah.
So the
red,
stories
that's the red.
They're
I've got way
important to
more
us.
No, it's so good.
So I've been reading a lot about buy-in, right? So how to get people to buy into things that maybe you want them to care about, and maybe they might care about, but they don't really.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know they care about it, and it's all about storytelling, right? So becoming like being able to tell a story versus if you just give a sentence, right? It means nothing. But if someone hears a story about it, they feel connected, just like you said, right? And then they feel like they care about it. So just how do you get people to care?
But from that paradigm, you need, from the Herman Brain, you need the red, the storytelling feeling.
Yeah.
You need the blue, which is the data. So for Sat,
We
he's
need
going to open
Sat
this
there
thing
to
and be
see.
like,
Yeah.
what percentage increase is the, you know, Sat's be like, hey, what percentage retention are you seeking? What percentage increase of student performance? Like, he's going to need the blue, right? The green is like, for Sean, can I find the information I need without so much clutter? I need the things where I need them, and I need Oxford commas through the whole thing. Right? Yes, and then the yellow, which you can tell I wrote this because it's very vision. Like, I need lots of open space. Yeah, that's interesting. So we might actually be a little data light on the presentational data and need more quantitative metrics to pull in our blue friends. Sean, were you? No? Was somebody making a comment? Neroli?
I was gonna say the testimonials and story of that concept of,
There you go.
do we just keep it at the end, like,
There's our greens
at the
right
end
there.
of it,
Yep.
And I'm just like over here like.
Yeah. Yeah, the organized self, the feeling self, the safekeeping self, and the experimental self. That's good.
Do
It's
we
good.
have a goal as far as how many pages we're looking combined? Do you have something in mind? Like, I feel like 10 pages and that's it. That's the cutoff.
No, I wouldn't operate really well in a paradigm like that. But do you?
No, I don't. I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
no.
That's why, going back to testimonials
Yeah.
and stories, this was what I was wondering if we had.
That's where drafts are helpful. Like I found it too when we did the charter. I mean, we had an insane number of drafts, but this may start off really, really long and then naturally pare itself down once you see it in total.
Yeah.
So like I'm super hesitant to suggest cutting anything at this point.
I also think, though, that there is maybe a breaking point in the document where you're like, the first 3 pages are the goals, the actions, the metrics. You're like, got it. You want to keep reading? Oh, there's a bunch of richness back here and rich descriptive data. And, so you might be able to tear off the first 3 pages and be like, that's the strat plan. Yeah. Like, that's what you need, but this is what you want to, like, these are bedtime stories. All right. Are we okay there? Are we good? So this then, I think, is the question of like, would you like the opportunity as a board member? Because if you don't, you're like, don't give it to us. Would you like the opportunity to add an action, or would you like the opportunity to add an action or goal, delete an action or goal, or edit an action or goal? So remember, we only have 3 goals. Do you want the power to say, hey, I'd like to add a goal. I want a 4th one. Do you guys want the opportunity to edit the ones that are up there? Like, I understand number 1. I hate the word ensure, or right?
I like the word.
No, I know. Or do you want the power to say, hey, I think we should not have that goal? Do you want that? I know what sometimes we talk in here, and I don't want to put you on the spot to improvisationally dream up the strat plan. So I've created a form, and I'll send you this link, and it will just ask you, like, if you want to submit between now and the next meeting, some suggested adds and edits. Now, if anybody has this is where you come in. If you want to talk about it right now, the floor is open. Let's jam, and I've got some thoughts too. But I also don't want to say, if you don't come up with an improvisational add to this thing, we're done in 12 minutes, right? So I just want to say,
I appreciate that because I wake up in the middle of the night and go, I should have said.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. So once you process this, and if you haven't read the brief and looked through this thing, you can read it and look through it, and then you can email me or use this form and say, that 3rd action down there that says this, I think it's not descriptive enough, or it's targeting the wrong thing. Okay. With that being said, would you like to use is that the right format? Like, hey, use the form so I have it all in place. Does that feel okay? Okay. Yeah, cool. Or just come talk to me.
I'm more likely to do that.
Which I'm totally down with.
I'm horrible at
I just want to give you options at midnight. Don't come talk to me at midnight. If you wake up, you can call me.
I send them anyway. I can't help it.
You can. Okay, then on that topic, is there any initial add, delete, edits to these topics or goals and actions? I liked what you said before, like just
I'm just concerned that looking at these 3 goals right now, right, in this moment, goal 1 is pretty prescriptive, right? Ensure, retain 90% or more, which is well above the national average, right? Which is a great goal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wonder if in some ways you're over committing what we'll be able to do, but I want to do it. It's like this, it's ambitious, but is it, maybe you need to be a little bit more.
I like
realistic,
ambitious
softly
goals.
realistic.
It's good. It's good. Okay.
And this is our goal.
Yeah, I'm battling optimism and,
Yeah.
and with like what I think reality is.
I
gonna
like
be.
having something to strive. Like I'm okay.
Striving's a great word.
I'm okay with
Yes.
not always being like. I mean, if we're 88%, it's like.
So strive for 90, not ensure 90 or whatever.
Right, that's exactly,
Okay.
but that's exactly my,
Yeah,
that's,
okay.
that's exactly what my.
Yeah.
writing
Okay. So some of the language around shall versus should, may versus will, and
versus
strive
should.
versus okay, would be good. Yeah, Sally.
For me, it's too early in the process to give you this feedback.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would want to see more come from you and Meredith or whoever's
Yeah.
creating all of this before I'm able to.
So all of these actions are synthesized from the data, and the administrative team, we've purposely not prioritized them in any order because I figure that's what we'll all be doing in the next couple iterations. I guess what I'll need you to do though is read through these and push me on clarity. Be like, hey, that's cool words. I don't know what that means. Because I wrote it and I'm still like, I don't think any of us know what that means. Like, I deeply know what this means. Like, I have a very deep connection to this, and I've been talking about it in leadership and staff, talking about creating clarity within the organization. But I'm like, I don't know that all of us in this room will have the same understanding of that unless I could get that codified betterly.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some clarity seeking for sure. Is there anything that you initially walked in and was like, I know it's going to be one of those 3 goals. It's going to be this, and it's not up there?
I don't think it's something that needs to be up here, but just kind of the environment we're in, just kind of things that have been coming out news-wise. Our fiscal health has been great. We monitor. Thank you.
Sasha.
Do we need to include it? I mean, I don't think anything came out of it. I just asking the question, really food for thought. We don't talk about that. It wasn't our last strat plan. We talk about the permanent high school. We talk about financially the retention of staff. Just, I don't know.
It's a good point. I wonder where the financial, I know back here in Mission Area 1, we call it out as a belief and a value and a commitment. Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be a goal. I'm not even trying to say that or in an action.
Those descriptive phrases that are below the Mission Area 1, we demonstrate what's possible. In the previous strat plan, that's where we wrote, we will remain nimble and flexible and financially chicka. And you put that there, and as you flip through this, you go, there it is. It's not one of the goals, but it's one of our core who we are.
That's great. I think something
good catch.
To discuss that somewhere in our strat plan.
That's a good point, because you're saying if things change with our beliefs, then that's going to turn into an action.
Yeah, it could.
Right?
Yeah, that would make sense, because I don't think it needs to be in one of our goals, and it really doesn't align.
Because right now, we're okay.
Yeah, but exactly.
I would build on that to say, and we heard it in the presentation earlier, right? When the last strat plan was done, we were still in a period of growth, right? And to Steve's point earlier, that now we're reliant on COLAs more so than like forever now, right? Like, it does change the budgeting perspective, right? Because there is no like additional however many students coming to increase the budget. Do we make a statement about that? I mean, my favorite joke from today was, hey, where'd recruit go?
Because the goal up here is retain and develop. And where's recruit? I said, well, if we retain well enough, you won't need a recruit. Maybe.
Which is true, but we know that attrition is going to happen naturally. So.
Even 90%, you got to recruit somebody.
So it was just a joke, because for so many years it's been
recruit, develop, and retain.
And I'm like, oh wait, there's no recruit.
And I need that feedback. Like, let's put it in there. Let's workshop this for sure. We've got months, but let's workshop it.
I was mostly joking earlier.
But it's the financial piece. Yes, I wonder where and how we get that in there. I mean, it's definitely in Mission Area 1, but maybe it's part of that that articulation. Anybody else have any actions in your mind that you don't think fit into one of those 3 goals? You're like, hey, I think we have to have an action around new tan bark on the playground, and I don't see where that fits up there. For me, the action around the collaborate with the greater community to acquire a permanent high school facility. I'm like, well, that's a retention piece, I suppose. That's a goal, systems clarity, improve systems. I mean, it's funky. It doesn't really ring super true. And then somebody asked me, who read through this today, said, when we talk about retention, who are you talking about? Staff? Families? Students? Right? I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. And then we started saying, well, you got these actions around increased family engagement. Which one is that? You're like, well, if you increase family engagement, theoretically that helps with high levels of staff retention because they get support. But it came up that like maybe there's a fourth goal, and that fourth goal is about families. Because hear me out, the first goal is totally about staff. The second goal is about the organization, and I might even reorder those to put the org first, maybe, or the org fourth. But it's like staff. Literally, goal 2 is all about that. We demonstrate what's possible. The organization needs to clarify its systems so that everyone has clarity. What can families expect? What could staff expect? What could students expect? So that's goal 2. And goal 3 is improving systems of personalization, which is really proxy for like all the ways you produce student outcomes academically and social emotionally. So it's staff, the school, and students. I'm like, you might throw a fourth one in there about families, and then you're like, cool. Our 3 big constituents groups are all represented, and then the school is represented as kind of its own. How does that resonate with you? Or am I overthinking it?
I like that.
Yeah?
I like that. It just, intellectually, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It gives a whole picture as opposed to trying to shoehorn.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit of like
Yeah.
shoehorning in increased family engagement and calling it a teacher retention piece. It might not be. Teachers are like, I don't have people in my room. I'm just kidding.
For me, it will depend on the goal. Honestly,
Well,
Yeah.
and kind of to Sally's point, I can't flesh that idea out in my head yet
So, like, Kelly-
because I need to see how it fits. The one thing that sorry.
Just I love the term, you can't edit a blank page.
Oh yeah, and
Right.
I'm an
You're an editor. You're an editor.
I'm
You love.
I'm not a drafter.
Yeah, and I'm a
He saves
drafter.
me all the time
Yeah.
by drafting and letting me just like tear it up, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. Teamwork.
We have our drafts. We have a first, a second, and then hopefully a good third. There is one thing missing for me.
Just one.
No, it comes down to, are we ever going to define global citizen?
Well, it would certainly fall under creating clarity in critical areas.
I don't know if it's correct. I mean, it's part of our mission, so by definition.
Yeah, it's a critical area, right? I mean, you would do that in there. You could do it under improved systems of personalization.
Wouldn't we
We don't
just
use the words
define,
anywhere.
couldn't we just define it, like you said, under,
We haven't yet.
no, but what if we did?
Yeah, you would define it in that area.
Yes.
Yeah, what are our beliefs around this, and what are our actions?
What is this actual, what is it?
Yeah, I love that.
It's kind of an existential question at this point.
It's huge.
If we solve it, she'll actually be less happy because she won't have that thing.
Can
that
I just
drives
go
her.
back to the family thing really fast?
Yeah.
So when I first looked at this, and like once you dive into it more, you see bigger. But
Yeah.
just my initial was like, okay, so that systematic clarity still seems
Staffy.
staffish.
It's staffy.
And then personalization, I'm like, yeah, that's about students still related to staff.
Yeah.
So it did feel like, okay, there's like, it feels very heavy on staff feedback and a lot less on family. Now, when you dive in.
Yeah, once
I
you start
see-
reading, you're like, oh, family said this and family said
Yes.
this. But it doesn't scream, include the families as part of the, that's,
You were heard.
yeah. I buy it. Sean said it's academic, but for me it's visual. I look at this graphic organizer that's on the front page or on a flyer hanging in the staff room or, for the next 5 years, like that's your strat plan. And you're like, students, staff, families, the school. Okay.
I kinda
It's
like that.
I found vibes.
So at work we have buttons. I just want to put this out there. So we had 5 goal areas, and each goal area had a button that looked very much like these things, and they were really fun because you could throw like magnets on different things you were working on.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
future swag. And just to go back to the under actions, that's where I was mostly thinking about global citizen, right? We can define it, Amber, certainly, but like, what are we actually defining what we're doing towards that? And is there still a goal about opening
define it, and
a
then-
And so
campus
what?
in Costa Rica?
And
Yeah,
how are
yeah.
we doing that?
Yeah.
Right. So
That's partly, it's funny you bring that up because there's this when we opened up our 3rd campus in Costa Rica, which is was a little tiny aspirational thing from a long, long time ago. That I'm still struggling with where to put because a lot of this at this point is codify or write down what got you here and break fix. hey, I got this thing, it's a little broken in America right now. Could we help fix it? So you get some break fix. But there's not a lot of aspirational, like, we're going to take over the world. Yeah. I mean, the last draft time, we're like, let's open a high school. And now we're like, well, let's get a building, which would be rad. But it's not as much as in our control. So I'm looking for a little of that. When you wake up at midnight and go, I know how we could codify some aspirational, just call me. Do it.
When we talk about global citizens, I mean, goal number 3, we do talk about to ensure that every explorer's path towards becoming an inspiring adult, a strategic learner, a reflective decision maker, a steward of their community. I mean,
And those are all
while
from
we
the
may not
graduate
have our
profile.
beautiful Costa Rica campus
Yeah.
out down there, I still think being a global citizen is also learning
Yeah.
about others, and that we do very well by
Right.
international festivals, just what's on my mind, but in the classrooms, learning about the country. So, I mean, there is an opportunity to like massage
Yeah.
that goal.
And to codify it, to bring it in and to say, this is what we believe, and this is what we do
Yeah.
in this area.
So what you though, Amber, said really stood out, which is like goal 1 sounds like it's admin related. Number 2, the more I didn't even think number 2 as very admin related, even though it's measurable and the actions are very administrative, because we are talking about the organizational health of it. And then number 3 is a little bit more family. And then coming to this bigger picture of like, oh yeah, where is the family voice? I do think that opportunity, how, I have absolutely no idea on my mind right now. But I think figuring how to take goal number 2 and make it not, to make it.
Are you suggesting to remove goal 2 or add a goal 4?
Not add a goal 4.
Oh, I'm thinking add a goal 4.
Oh, you're thinking adding a goal.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that goal 1 is about the staff, and that goal 2 is about the systems or the organization or the school itself.
Yeah.
Goal 3 is about students. If you had a goal 4, which is a family piece or a community or a school and community collaborate, right? Then you got this nice little like, because then all the stakeholders are represented.
I like having 3 goals.
Do you?
I'm not gonna lie, but like I see where
You want 5 now. You're like, I don't like 4.
No,
I
No,
want,
can I?
I want odd
That's
numbers.
me. That's me.
I don't know.
You know that's me. So if we go to 4, I want a 5th.
Well,
And Sean knows this from finance, right? Like we do, like is 4 too many? Is 3 not enough? Oh, hey, we're adding a 5th. Have we gone too far?
I think the most important one up here is up on top, but I think the reality is if you don't do this second one well, you won't make it from where you are to where you want to be. I mean, that to me is what'll clunk us down, and has clunked us down in expansion, because we're such a people on people organization. We're so high touch. Every system's high touch, which worked because we were just a K5, then we were a K8. Now we're a K12 on 2 campuses with 200 staff members, 1,500 students, and 700 families. You're like, you can't be so high touch. You got to create systems that are transparent and followable for every stakeholder. So I'm pretty adamant on 2 that like, guys, we got to get. When I first got here, I created the memo system. I created goal 2 when I got here, and it held up until it didn't. And I'm like, oh, we got to recreate goal 2.
Well, you can see the importance of that. I mean, under actions, it's every single action
Right.
is reflected because of goal 2.
Right.
Maybe shifting it around, maybe to identify our
Yeah.
organizational health,
Yeah.
and then thinking staff, students, family, any of that,
Yeah.
that food for thought
Yeah.
on reorganizing that.
Like for me, the order makes sense because when I read 2 and 3, I think they directly affect 1. Because without just based on some of the survey results I've seen, right? Understanding how personalization works, giving more tools around that might help on a work day, right? Knowing clearly what the structures are in place for 2. I feel like 2 and 3, and teachers please correct me if I'm wrong, hopefully it helps with 1.
Yeah. I actually also think that goal 3 gets the word student woven into it.
It does.
I think you end up in the final draft calling that like improve systems of personalization for student outcomes or something, so that you go, oh, that was about students, because that one certainly says staff. And that one's the students. And if you could weave the word organizational
I
health.
think that would help a lot.
Yeah, because then you'd go, oh, work on organizational health, student outcomes, staff retention, family involvement. Oh,
Because like
yeah, that looks like
systematic clarity.
yeah,
is
you can
just,
see the pie. But
systematic clarity for me. I just go. I don't even like. That's a really.
Has no clarity.
No, I'm like I don't even know what that means. And
it's
then
so funny. It's like baseball players and baseball lingo, and you're like, well, I'm a hockey player. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, words are words. Yes, I think you got to get the word in there that you go, I know what these 4 things are. That one's for family.
once again, it's
That
like
was
that
for
kind of
students.
like that little connection to it
Yeah.
where you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's like you said, you're marketing it.
yeah.
Because we do. We have to go from alpha version to a marketable version
Yeah.
where everybody can walk into a staff meeting and go, I kind of see what we're doing. Yeah, families can go, I want to send my kid to that school. Looks like they're going the right direction. Yeah. Okay, I think that was a good jam session. You guys feel okay? If you feel strong about something, email or call me at midnight. Use the form. We'll send it to you in a link. I will, from now until next time we see each other, flush the whole thing out through all 6 sections. I will try to commit out loud on the YouTubes to get it to you not the day before the meeting. Yeah, so that you get a chance to like rip it up. And next month is March. If you sing it if you don't know. It's March. Is it March? It's March. Next month is March. Totally okay to have a really red pen March where we're like, ugh, add this, cut that, make it too long, because then you get to April, and you're tightening it up, and by the time you get to Moon, which is May, June, you're like, okay, now it's just about Oxford commoners or not. And that'll be a
Oh, we'll
fight.
get there. I mean, for the charter, Sean and I were in a room, like, tagging
Months.
each other
Months.
to edit, so it happens. I just want to acknowledge, John, that these goals are hard.
Oh, yeah.
No, it would have been easy to come in maybe with easy goals, and I appreciate that these are meaty.
Yeah, but they'll get you where you want to be.
Agreed.
Thing is, if you wake up in 5 years and goal 1's crushing and goal 2's crushing, and like, you will be the belle of the ball. People will be like, Westlake Charter School, why would you be anywhere else? Look at who they are. And I think these things are vulnerable and painful. People said in focus groups the things that they said, and they are in here. And those are families' words, and staff's words, and students' words. And so, like, we have hard work to do, but it's good work.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, thanks. I
some
appreciate it.
leaders might not be vulnerable enough to put a document like this out.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I dig it, man. You know, I like what we're doing. All right.
I'm gonna go slightly out of order now.
Yes, ma'am.
For future agenda items, I know we have second interim coming up. We'll have 2 policies from governance.
I have an academic update next month with some dashboard updates and some NWA stuff.
So March will be a short meeting.
So,
Be a quick one. Not. So that brings us to reflection. What worked well? What would be better if? And who will go first? Sean.
I will go first. Kind of out of order. It would have been better if I had seen the strat plan thing. I didn't know that it was available after I had
I
already
almost
looked at the
emailed you
original
this
stuff.
morning. I botched that. Sorry.
So, but it worked well that you went through it, because even after I skimmed it, I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
And so going through it, really, I was, oh, I get it, I see. So that was
It's good. That was my plan the whole time.
well executed.
Write it, but don't let her read it, and then explain it. So she's like, I get it. Yeah, good. Houston?
Similarly, I really enjoyed hearing everyone's
Me too.
opinions
Yeah.
on this, because it then kind of had me see things a bit differently in some ways. So I just really enjoyed the whole conversation.
Yeah, I love it. Sanchez?
I appreciate the form because I don't have anything mind blowing yet, but
You will.
it'll come.
Yeah, you will. Hubba?
I want to echo hope and acknowledge you, because you have put yourself in front of so many different groups of people and you said, let me hear what you have to say. And you sat there with all of these groups and you've just been receiving, and that must have been really hard. And it's excellent work because this is what comes out of it, and it feels really good, and it feels strong. It feels like we're going.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, man. This is the best meeting for me because you guys, every single one of you spoke, which doesn't happen in every meeting. I go back to the YouTubes and watch. We don't always express our divergent opinions because sometimes we're like, well, let's just get to the end. But it's great when you're like, well, I don't want testimonies. I do want testimonies, and that's good. That's healthy. That's healthy, productive conflict. So thank you for being that board tonight. It's like, well, we're building something important. Let's build it together. Hope.
So funny. I was thinking kind of the opposite in a way. But hear me
Productive
out.
conflict right here.
I hate conflict, and you know that. It's funny, I'm a lawyer. I appreciate all our divergent views, similar to Sally, though. I worry about how we're going to be able to incorporate that for you. Does that make sense? Like, I know this is the stage.
That's my job. I got it.
It's your job, but we employ you, and so I want to make sure it's something that's achievable.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
That's
trying
cool.
to say. Like, so it's good that we heard it all. Now we have to go back and be open to all the changes that it may bring.
I love it. Suzanne?
Yeah, I appreciate in you sitting in front of so many different people and already getting all the feedback. You didn't have to bring it to us and ask us what we thought. You could just say, here's what it was presented and this is where we're going. So I appreciate that you presented to us and wanted to hear our feedback.
Yeah, I've had a really cool opportunity to test these theories because I have all the quantitative and qualitative data laid out in a particular way. And so we took these actions and said, okay, read the actions and then see where they find in the data. Then inversely, we went through the data and we read each heading and made sure they were reflected in the actions. So it's really pretty cool. They're kind of nerdy. Safir, what worked well? What worked better if?
I think this handout you gave to us really started the conversation out. We'll have the
cool.
questions laid out, and then we were able to just jump right in and answer the questions, and that's a healthy conversation.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. You guys have led me to believe you like worksheets. I love that. I now know. I'm like, oh, let's make a worksheet. Yeah, it's good. Nirali Patel?
I think everyone hit a lot of what I was going to say. I
good.
think hearing different opinions and thoughts really allow you to really reflect on your own. So for me, when Amber had pointed what I had mentioned earlier in our meeting, I was like, oh, didn't even come to my mind, and really allow you to figure out where my voice stands in this group and what I believe I'll, come to the next meeting holding guns on and holding my stance on, and things I won't, That was one thing. What could work better for me, and this is a personal thing, I really wish I took a little bit of time looking at our current strategic plan, because really it would allow me to take, I want to be able to say more, but I'm like, where were we? I mean, it's been a minute since I looked at that.
It's in the binder right there in front of you.
But really read it.
No, I'm with you.
I
Yeah.
was like, I need to close it right now, but
Yeah.
it would really allow me to, I think, be able to answer the little QR
Yeah.
code a little bit better to say, you know what, yes, this was really good.
It actually, at the next version, it might be a fun exercise to put them juxtaposed. Because they're the same goal areas, right? They just lay out a little different with actions versus objectives. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
that's just a personal thing. I wanted to
Steve, you want to play?
Yeah, sure. I actually like the stories and testimonials and all the discussion. It brought me back to culture code, actually.
It does, right?
And artifacts,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's artifacts and culture code, and like what are the elements really that make the organization the organization. So in thinking about and reflecting on it, I was like, oh yeah, the artifacts and all that. So
Yeah, I dig it.
Thank you. I could not come up with an artifact earlier, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
That's a lay around. So now we will adjourn into closed session. I don't anticipate any report out. We are going into closed session under 2 items. We have conference with real property negotiators as well as a conference with legal counsel. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn us into closed session.
All right. I'm going to turn off the YouTubes. If anybody needs a moment to stretch your legs. Oh, that's right. Good night, Paul Jacob.
Oh, wait, will you do that actually before you disconnect? Any public comment? Sorry, no, none. So, yes, thank you.
All
Nice
right.
catch. Gave me time to think.
Okay. Hey, everybody, we are.